you want to come and check out this absolutely magical place, then go to platinumlist.net right now. Hey, it's Joe Mango. Today I'm so excited. I'm down at IMG Worlds of Adventure. I feel like a kid in a candy store. Let's go explore. If you want to come and check out this absolutely magical place, then go to platinumlist.net right now. Hey, it's Joe Mango here from Platinum List down at the Museum of Illusions. If you want to try out this awesome place, then follow me. Oh. Coming here, you seriously won't believe your eyes. Make sure you book right now for the Museum of Illusions, platinumlist.net.
Hi, I'm Lily.
And I'm Dan.
And we are The Load-In.
We are indeed.
Guys, welcome. We've got a full house today.
We have. It's really good to have people back in the studio to come and talk to us.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah, welcome, welcome.
I mean, an excuse to talk about ourselves. It's like
I know, of course. That's what we all like to do.
Well, we've got Gaz Hannaford.
Hello there, Hanford. Yep.
Hanford
Yep.
from 13 Days. And John, and I'm going to get your surname wrong. So
It's
please.
okay. It's Marquez.
Marquez.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I like
easy.
that. Well, no, it could be Marquis, Marquez.
I actually think it's Marques or something like that. It's
Okay.
Portuguese.
Is it French?
Ah, right, okay.
Portuguese.
Portuguese is a really difficult language to say and speak. It always sounds so different.
And seeing
Yeah.
that I got the first surname wrong, I wasn't going to get to number two.
Oh, mine was easy.
So did I. I thought I was doing it well. But
Anyway, we always
so
we always go from a random tangent.
Right. So Gaz is from 13 Days,
Correct.
one of the local bands here, and John from About Last Night.
Yes, correct.
So it's great to have both of you on the show. And good old Dan, you're back.
Well, I am indeed. Where did I go? It's been a long day. Yeah. Oh, thanks.
All right. Well, before we start, I'm going to hand over to both of you to just tell us a little bit about yourselves, your story, how you ended up here, how you ended up in a band. You know, the whole thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
John, you go first because I want to see how not to do it.
How not to do it.
The PG version.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I started very young performing, so I was actually in musical theatre. So I'm from that.
Interesting.
Yeah, from that world.
Yeah. It's a very different world from rock and roll and being in a band.
Incredibly different.
Yep.
Yeah, I was on tour with Cameron McIntosh for Oliver. I was on
No
tour
way.
with Joseph, with
Okay.
Stephen Gately and so forth. And I'll drop some more names as we go along. don't
It's
worry.
all right. It's all right.
Yeah, so that was my background, and then I worked for Disney for a while in America, and that was my first kind of band experience,
Okay.
leading bands.
What were you doing for Disney?
I was working on the ships there for them.
Ah, right, okay. I've got many friends that work on the ships.
Yeah.
So they're all like out of I think like Tampa or no, it's somewhere in Florida, Cape Canaveral.
It is.
Yeah,
It is,
that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then we go down
yeah.
to Miami and usually cross the Panama Canal and then end up in Los
Nice.
Angeles and
Yeah.
up and down the coast.
Okay,
there.
cool.
And then, yeah, that was my first real taste of being a band leader as well.
Yeah.
And then I ended up actually opening a recording studio back
Yeah.
in where I live, which is Macclesfield. So hello to the Macclesfield Massive.
Yeah, Northern.
The Northern, yeah.
Yeah.
And then opened a bar there. So it was a
Okay.
live music bar. And
all this by the time you were what, 18?
I was 20. Yeah.
Wow.
I was 28 when I opened the bar.
Okay.
Wow.
So, and then that lasted a while, but politics got in the way, as it always does, because there
Yeah.
were three of us that owned it.
Okay.
But it was a great experience, and then I ended up back on the ships, but I wanted to do something better because the ships are great, they're fun,
Yeah.
but they're not very rock and roll. You know, you
For
usually
sure.
playing to 80-year-olds playing bridge. You know?
Yeah.
So I heard about, you know, Dubai, and I heard about the hotels and the venues out here,
Yeah.
and
Then rest is history.
the rest is history. We came out here,
Nice.
and we've been working here for 4 years now.
Yeah.
Was it anything like what you expected or completely different?
Do you know what? It didn't meet expectations at first.
Yeah.
For certain venues that we worked in.
Yeah.
But then when we moved to Lock, Stock and Barrel, it did. That's
Okay.
what I wanted.
Yeah.
That was the kind of
Okay.
crowd, and that was the kind of performance we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting how Dubai always like doesn't really necessarily meet expectations at first, but then you evolve and you kind of grow into it, and
Exactly.
then it kind of does.
And it also
Most of the
depends
time.
on when you come out here.
For sure.
The experience
Yeah.
has been different depending on what year you were here. So yeah, like
My-
I arrived at the recession,
Because you came in 2009.
2009.
Yeah, I was like 2007,
but I was coming out
2008,
here quite a bit.
different.
But that was the thing. I was coming out here at the heyday. So I know,
Sorry, tackle the
I know
dogs.
he's come in.
Yeah, he's like running
Get him on
around
the
somewhere.
table.
Yeah, bring him up.
Get way more
He'll
views.
he'll take over the show. I don't know
pressure
how
on
he
us,
got
though.
in.
Probably got a better insight to this.
He's fully like, oh my God, he's right here.
He is.
You're gonna have to get him involved again.
Oh God. Tom,
There you go. He was like literally like waiting for mum to give him some attention.
I can't get him.
Come to me for protection.
He's made a new friend with Gaz.
Dog
Well,
whisperer.
He's gonna start peeing on the floor.
Speaking of Gaz, over to you. A little bit about
Oh,
yourself.
mine is nowhere near as impressive as that. So I quite the opposite. I started really late. I don't think I actually ever wanted to be a musician. I wasn't particularly. God, this sounds positive, doesn't it?
Yeah, like,
No, do you know what I wanted to
I
do?
was forced into being a musician.
So I started playing guitar when I was about 15. But I say playing, I was doing like 4 chords and repeating
Chopsticks.
them forever. Not even that good. And then I just sort of had a guitar in my house, which I played sometimes. And then I think I was 26 or 27 when I did my first gig.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be, for me, it was supposed to be the only gig. I was only bothered about doing one. It was like, you know, like
Tick it off the list.
Yeah, it was like, once I went skydiving,
Yeah.
once I
Yeah.
swam with sharks, once I played in front of humans. And that was
It
what?
wasn't my stuffed animals.
Instead of just my bedroom, you know. So I just wanted to do that. But so the guys I was playing with, I think all of us were some had experience, but not that much. So we practiced for like 3 months to do a show. And it wasn't a small show. It was like in this marina with big rigging and lights and all this stuff. So it wasn't like easing into it. It was like, there you
There
are.
you go.
Yeah.
So we practiced loads and loads and loads, and like it was just super nerve-wracking. But then when we finished, and I still think to this day, I have never had a better feeling than when we finished that gig.
Yeah.
Like it was not like, oh, thank God it's over.
But
It was like,
it was
oh,
elation.
we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it just sort of carried on from there. It was like, oh, do you guys want to do another gig? Oh, okay. Do you want to do another one? And then before we knew it, we were doing like 4 gigs a week.
Wow.
Nice.
And then it became, then that band split up, and I was like, well, I'll just do my own one then with a friend of mine. And we decided, look, let's do this, but the only one rule is, if it's ever not fun, we will just stop because we don't want it to become a job.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of,
And it never
that was
stopped
13
being fun.
days that we started there.
Yeah.
So that was in 2000. So my first gig was in 2007. 13 days started in 2008.
Oh wow.
And yeah, we just now are in Dubai, and
Yep.
it's supposed to be a proper band, and I feel like I'm just tricking everyone like a massive fraud.
Imposter syndrome. Fake it till you can
I'm
make it.
still
There you
getting
go.
away
You'll
with
be
it,
all
and
right.
no one's noticed. So
Yeah.
so
Happy days.
that's pretty much it.
Nice.
Well, what made you wake up one day and say, I want to breathe fire?
Do you
'Cause
know?
he genuinely...
Yeah, that
You're a
was.
fire breather.
I used to be back
Yeah.
in the day. Yeah, not anymore. Like I used to do like all circus random stuff. But yeah, how did I get into it? Oh my god! Now we're talking. So there's a real good friend of mine. We used to work together in a hotel, and she won a competition, like a dance competition. She was like dancing clubs and venues all over the UK. She won a competition. My cousin was supposed to go on it,
Yeah.
but they thought there was something dodgy, like like it wasn't like legit, and that they were going to get like people trafficked when they went to Cyprus. So like it was dark, a bit dark. Anyway, like parents were like, no, you can't do that. So anyway, she said to me, "Oh, like you should go with her." Like, so anyway, so we went on this holiday, had an amazing time, and she was like dancing. She was full of confidence. I was like, "Oh my god, like that's really cool." Like, you know, like what you do as a day job is like pretty interesting. Not a day job, evening job, whatever. And she was like, "You should come to the classes." So I went to like dance classes, got involved in all of that, and then literally within like the first week or 2 weeks, the owner of the agency was like, "Hey, we've got this promotion for Smirnoff. Like, you know, we're going to tour across all the UK. We've got like 44 venues to do in like 2 weekends or something." She was like, "We need performers." She's like, "Do you want to go to circus school?" And I was like, "Yeah, sign me up for that." So yeah, that was
Circus
it.
school.
That was it.
She went circus
Also,
school. Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm telling that I've
So-
always
and then
I've
the-
always wanted this
But
story.
how do you?
And
how
then
do
that's
you,
the rest is literally history.
How do you practice fire breathing?
Or in a
So do you-
bath.
in a bath.
Honestly, in a bath, so yeah.
But you just-
for me, in a bath with a pint glass full of water, and you just learn how to breathe and to spit the fluid.
But the
And-
first time you did
Oh, the
it,
first time I did
It's
it,
like, I
because
always
you have to
wonder how
learn
they
how to
learn-
get the particles right, and then
Yeah.
I did it in the circus school. There's a training ground outside the back, and it was literally like, you know, it's a bit pikey circus actually, and it was
Aren't they
literally
all?
like, yeah, they all are. So I shouldn't really say that. It was literally like, take the paraffin, learn, breathe. There you go, did it. Yeah.
Wow.
First time was like
Because one of those things like,
terrifying.
like I always wonder how people learn like high diving.
Yeah.
It seems like if you mess it up the first time,
it's
Well, you
not a
put
good
it
thing,
in.
right?
Breathing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Or the guys in like the Wheel of Death, like you
Yeah.
see at La
All
Perle.
of
It's
it.
like,
Oh,
how,
yeah.
So how did you learn that? It's like, well, you know, just
Just
one day I was just playing outside the back.
skydiving.
Yeah.
That could go horribly wrong.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so that's my story.
But I've always wanted to know this
Yeah.
because on
There's way more to it, but we've not got time.
but
make
at least
time.
I
No,
will
next
make time.
time.
We'll go and
Yeah.
we'll bring you in for another session. But no, it was always I'm always curious to hear how people get started. So like for you, you're like, well, it was a bucket list thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, fire
But
breathing.
I think almost like what you were just saying, it's like, I didn't plan to get into the
Yeah.
world of entertainment. Like my parents were often like, you know, you need to be a lawyer, a policeman, a doctor.
Yeah.
You need like a stable job.
Hi, lawyer.
Yeah. And,
All of
you?
us.
Are you?
No, it was
what
supposed
they
to be.
were supposed
That
to
was
be.
that was my tick list. I ran off to events. That
Yeah.
was my
Fair
running
enough.
off to the
Yeah.
circus.
I found like, oh, you need to do that, and I was like, no, I'm literally running away with the circus. I'm getting into the world of events, and then literally, I think we talked about this in a previous podcast. Like when it got to like 2008, I brought my mum to a show in Jakarta, and she was like, finally, I see that this is a real
I get
job.
it, yeah.
And now with the whole COVID situation, it's like, oh, you're disposable again.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
You
great!
just
I should have
backed
been
out.
a lawyer.
All the work you did, she goes,
I
"See, I told you you
should have been a doctor or a shelf
Yeah,
stacker.
but to be honest, lawyers are struggling at the moment as well. So, mum, not necessarily a good idea.
I
either.
don't think my parents ever had the faith that I would achieve being a lawyer or a doctor. So they never gave me that advice.
Yeah.
Like, reach for the stars, you know, within your means.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the other, I'll try and bring us back
Yeah.
onto topic. I actually, it's a personal question here. 13 Days and About Last Night. How'd you come up with those names?
You first.
Okay,
I can only
so
imagine for about last night.
But yeah,
I've got,
exactly,
like, my
that's-
own stories going on right now.
well, it's actually not it's not as funny as that. Unfortunately, it was just the hashtag. I kept on seeing the hashtag,
Yeah.
to be honest, and I thought it'd be a clever name to play off that, especially
Get more views.
and get more views.
Yeah.
Basically,
Of course.
that was it.
That's very strategic.
I feel I should have
Smart.
made something.
Yeah.
No, but that's actually
Yeah.
really
Yeah, you should.
strategic.
It,
should be-
it was strategic. It
There
was.
should be
very
like a whole story behind it. It's like, you know, we were like, I don't know, drinking tequila. We were having
Yeah.
this great time. We woke up and it's like, we were all thinking about what happened about last night. you
Yeah,
know?
well, we kind of thought then, after we did that, we were like, well, it's a clever name because obviously it's all about
is a-
experiences the
yeah.
night before.
Of course
It makes
it
sense.
is.
Especially when
Yeah.
most people come to see us there,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, you would
They
be,
don't remember the
you
next
would be a
night.
lot
Yeah.
of people's About Last Night stories.
Exactly.
You'd be
That's
part
kind of
a
what
lot
we were going
them.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice.
But-
13 Days?
My favorite thing about, not about the name, but all the artwork that you guys do. Have you seen like the stuff they do with the logos and the design? It's super cool.
Very
It's very
cool.
like, what is it, like cyberpunky?
Yes, cyberpunk.
Nice.
Neon kind of stuff, which I may have stolen for some of our videos, which is
Excellent.
but no, like
Charge him.
the way you've done the look and the brand of it is super
Very cool.
Nice.
13 Days is we were originally we had that first band I was in was called Hybrid Monkeys.
I love that.
Because I wanted to be like Arctic Monkeys.
Okay.
Then 13 Days was originally called RAD, which stands
Rad.
for Red Army Day, which is the Russian military day. And all the branding was like with red stars and stuff. And then we were like, ooh, that might be a bit aggressive. So 13 Days.
As you're driving a tank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So 13 days. So I used to work as a kite surf instructor for many
Okay.
years, and that's what I was doing when I did that first gig. And 13 Days is the name of the very first like kite surf extreme sports
Yeah.
DVD.
Ah,
So it was like 13 days with these pro kiters doing
Yep.
like going and touring and doing all that cool stuff. So we were like, okay, we're working kiting. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really mean anything, so let's
use that.
Yeah.
I thought it
Brilliant.
had to do with when I saw the way you spelt it as well. I thought it was like Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, that's where mine.
Some people think that. Yeah,
I
should
thought it was
probably
a play off
let
that.
them. But I've ruined it now.
No,
so.
yeah, it's kites.
Yeah,
It's kites.
Kites. Yeah,
All about kites.
It's rock and roll, isn't it?
Right. Well, guys, before we jump into sort of like the COVID effect, sadly, with that everyone went through.
What effect?
I know the COVID effect.
The C word.
The C word. But before all that, your gig schedules were pretty packed, weren't they? You were like sort of non-stop.
Yeah, I think what we're doing 4 at least.
We were doing 4
It
weekends.
says non-stop, but I think there are musicians who do
It was
a lot
pretty
more.
healthy.
Yeah, I think it was quite a good schedule, but we did plan it that way for the venues because we didn't want to just overload everything, and then people get bored. And,
And then people see you everywhere. Then it's a little bit too much.
and
a bit of a saturation.
also, I think that if a musician's playing 6-7 days in a row, they're going to get bored, and then it's going to show.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. The enthusiasm wouldn't be there.
we didn't want people to feel like jobbing musicians, where they're right. I've got to go and earn my money now.
Yeah.
We wanted them to be like, come on, let's go, and then.
No, you guys are always great. Like I've
gigs
seen
can
you
be
guys
better.
down at LSB. So you sort of do a rotation between
Yeah,
the two.
so in our company, so we have 3 venues that we do the live music: Lock, Stock and Barrel, Barsha, Lock, Stock and Barrel, JBR, and Wave House at Atlantis as well.
Okay.
So we've got 3 full-time bands, and then we rotated every week. So every
Great.
week they'd have their own residency. Keeps it fresh for us, keeps it fresh for their audience as well. And then as we got bigger, we got more. We got another venue, so we got another band in who are called Red Light. And then they were doing that venue and then joined in some of the rotation. Yeah, but it was, I wouldn't say it was hectic, but I think the amount of energy we put in on those days certainly made up for not playing on the other days.
Of course.
Yeah, it's
for
quality
sure.
over quantity.
For sure,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know those, let's say the Friday night, let's say at JBR,
Everybody's
I mean,
favourite.
Yeah, I mean you don't. The only way that Friday night works is because we're not giving them everything throughout that week. You build up to that, and you leave them wanting more.
Yeah.
And on that Friday night, it goes off. You know, it's 1,400 people going crazy.
I think
And-
I saw half of them leaving the other night. Actually, I was like outside the rigs. So it was
Right.
definitely mental.
Yeah, I mean, also the set timings as well. So we decided that before Lock, Stock 1 opened, I was sort of doing my research around town, and I was sort of looking at the patterns of what people did, and it was always like 3 sets of 1 hour, 4 sets of 1 hour, 6 nights a week. Let's do this theme night, and we were like, no. We're going to do 2 sets of 45 minutes. We're going to make those 2 sets awesome, and that's all you're getting. So you can come back next time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Normal gig.
Which works.
exactly.
Yeah.
and
is
it works.
really good.
It
Yeah.
does work.
It does
Yeah.
work because
It means
it's
that
just
we can
enough.
scream
Yeah.
a lot louder instead. Because
Yeah.
one thing I don't like doing is, I must save my voice for that 3rd set. No,
Yeah.
do it all now.
Oh yeah, there definitely
and it
isn't
becomes
much
like a proper
voice there.
performance. Otherwise, it's just backing music.
Yeah,
to be honest,
exactly.
Yes,
like if you do
exactly.
too much throughout the evening,
Yeah.
You're at a concert. You're at a
you're
gig.
a gig, and
Yeah.
people are going to stop and you're going to watch it for like 45 minutes, and you can carry on and do whatever you need to do.
And that's what music should be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be just, a background. I mean, yes, okay. In some places it works. And
Yeah,
of course,
of
if you're in a
course.
jazz bar,
Depends on
Yeah.
what they're about. Yeah.
But if you're going to have a band,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be just put the band on for the sake of it because
Yeah.
we want some music
Yeah.
there. I mean, a DJ can do that.
Yeah.
Spotify can do that.
Yeah.
The whole point is it's an experience.
Yeah.
An experience isn't just. You're not just hearing the music. You're
Yeah.
watching the music.
You're in the music.
Feeling
You're
it.
in there.
Yeah,
The frequencies from those speakers that are
Yeah.
hitting you, the lights, the ambience of that audience. You can't replicate that anywhere
Yeah.
else.
It's
That
like
is a gig.
Even when we're doing events, like there's a massive difference between when you've got, a live band getting up there and
Exactly.
depending on how many are in the band or whether
Yeah.
it's a DJ
Oh, of
playing,
course.
it makes a big difference and the energy they bring
Yeah.
makes really defines the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then all of a sudden you were going
I'm
to
gonna
say
say,
something.
I might slightly, like, I don't know, jump
Go,
into your
detour it. Go,
question.
go, go.
Because you mentioned that the vital thing then, it's about the experience, it's about feeling the music, it's about being part of that. And I mean, let's face it, that's something we've all missed, I guess, for like the last 6 or so months
Yeah.
is now.
Heartbreaking.
And the whole reason, obviously, why you guys are here today is that Lily sent me a message and she was in lock stock and she's like, oh my God, there's live music.
Live
like, I can
music.
finally
We were making
feel and
noise.
see it.
I actually,
Of
like,
course.
I actually sent Dan a snippet. I go, share. I go, you got to hear it. Because I knew you were home working on pitches. Like, the
Yeah.
poor guy's been day and night non-stop.
Yeah.
And I'm
Possibly.
like, here, let me give you a little
A
bit of
nugget
joy.
of
A
light
little
at the
nugget
end
of joy.
of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I kid
absolutely.
you not,
It's
shed a
been
tear.
barren and dry and boring, I'm
Yeah.
sure, for all of us.
Well, that sort of is where my question was leading. I go, you know, pre-COVID, nice, healthy sort of schedule, and then COVID hits, like the events world, music, live
It's one
music,
of the first
just
to go, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
gone,
First to go, last to come
last
back.
to
Come
come
in.
back.
And we can see that across the world.
But
Yeah.
then at the same time, you know, when things do level out and, you know, things do go back to normal, which they will
Yeah.
at one point, you know.
the real normal.
The
not
real
real
normal,
normal.
not the new
Not the new
normal.
normal. I don't
That's
want to
not
talk about
new
the
They
new
We're-
will.
we're all on the same
Everybody,
page there.
John is promising. Everything will be fine.
It really
Yeah.
will, eventually.
Eventually,
will.
you know, humanity finds a way to, you know, we've been
course.
through
Well,
this many times.
humanity
And
wants it,
of course.
you know.
And also as
And-
well, we're creatures of habit. You know, we like to go back to the things which we enjoy and that we're familiar with.
Of course, and we like
Yeah.
to socialize, and
Of
it's simple as
course,
that.
yeah.
And when it does, you know, the irony is, well, the entertainers will be at the forefront of that
Yeah.
to actually entertain those tourists that are coming
Yeah.
in and the people that just want to.
And the whole cultural revival across the world,
Yeah,
like, you know,
absolutely,
music and the
yeah.
arts and stuff have played such a pivotal role in defining society.
Exactly. One of the best things, it was a quote from a comedian. I think I saw it on your page at
Okay.
one point, where they said, you know, basically, what got people through COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Art and
It was-
culture. It was
it
music.
was.
Yeah,
it was
was.
Netflix.
But don't you think it's weird as well?
You know?
Not only with live performance, like the fact that like no
Books.
new movies are coming out
No, nothing.
or anything, and you're like, oh, I've finished Netflix now.
Yeah.
What
And then-
next?
yeah.
yeah.
So
But doesn't Tiger King feel like a long time ago?
Oh, doesn't it?
Like it feels like the world has
It's
changed
changed.
since then.
But like, look, but even during the lockdown and all of that, what was keeping everyone's spirits up? You had bands getting on, you know, Zoom and streams and
Yeah.
everything and singing together. You had DJs
Which-
getting on track, you know, and playing in their own lounge rooms
Which is
just
a
for that.
temporary measure.
Yeah.
Only
Well,
temporary.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
we're going to get to live.
no. It's definitely got to go back to live. But what I'm saying is, that kept people's spirits going.
Yeah.
That's what brought people together.
it gave us something to do as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you
Oh,
can't
100%.
just you can't just sit there. Well, you can, but it's sitting there doing
Try.
nothing. It was really hard to be motivated because
Yeah.
I think we all did. Most bands in Dubai certainly did something online. That
Did
they
you guys
post.
sort of connect during that time? Was it like, or did you sort of work within, you know, connect within yourselves, or was there a lot of support?
Within each band, of course, we do our own thing
Support
in
each
each
other,
band.
yeah.
I have a bit more contact with the guys from like a work side
Yeah.
of things in that role. So, I mean, yeah, we were all talking. I don't think we were. I think everyone was just doing their own little projects and at their own pace. Because I get bored very quickly. I think we did like 10 videos in 10 weeks, which was a bit too much. And then the rest
Wow.
of my band were like, dude, can we not?
Not.
You've
Doing more work
you've
than
been
before
writing-
COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you were doing your original music.
Yeah.
Video shoots as well at home.
We were, yeah.
I think in terms of support, it's like, you know, like, hey, that video was cool and,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing.
It's interesting though because like the whole thing is so new to everybody. Like it's just so weird, like being confined to your home and not being
Yeah.
able to do the things that you actually enjoy doing was so weird. So I think many people kind of handle things very differently.
Yes.
You know, like you said, some people might go back into themselves, or some people want to be creative and
Yeah.
use it as an experience to kind of express themselves.
Yeah.
It's just.
But
it's
like
just
as
a weird-
creatives, like to all of a sudden to
Well,
have to
not-
turn. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
especially creatives, you're inspired by everything around you.
And
You
also,
know, you're
like
stimulated
you
by
mentioned,
things around
you mentioned earlier, it's you're not doing the gigs for the sake of a job. Like obviously you get paid for it, and you
Yeah.
know, but it's a lifestyle,
Yeah.
and all of a
Yeah.
sudden that whole lifestyle is taken away from you, or not necessarily taken away, but it's prohibited for a while.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's quite hard to fathom, handle.
Yeah, like
it's weird. Like I really struggle to
hold
be
on.
honest.
Like, well, for 3 o'clock in the morning, we're not standing on site. What's going on?
Yeah,
You know,
I miss that chafing.
I miss it. I miss it. I miss that delirious feeling.
Anyway,
you know.
yeah.
But so that all happened. You guys sort of did your own thing, tried to stay creative, supported each other, and then when did you hear? Well, how did it come that yes, you can sort of get back on stage? Because that was the 24th.
Well, So that the rule that you could be back on stage was in place quite a bit before that, but there was a bit of sort of pushing and shoving of how should we do it and should we do it, because of course my thing was, right, when we go back, we're going back big and I'm doing nothing else.
Yep.
Right, because you want it to be Lock, Stock and Barrel's got that what's the word, we can cut this bit later.
That's all right. We might keep it in.
Looking for reputation.
Yep.
So it's got the reputation of big, massive shows.
Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to, like, after we got shut down in March, it's like, right, whenever we come back, we're going to hit it hard and it's going to be the best night ever. Yeah. But then you're just waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. So the rules were, as you guys know, one performer on stage at a time.
Which is not good for a band.
How can we do that? But we thought about, right, why don't we put, like,
rotate
us on stage and then the guy can go up on the other level on the drums. And
I was going to feel like maybe you could play around with space.
We thought about it, but then when I thought about it, that's rubbish. So, so we decided, okay, what we'll do is we'll go around the bands and see which guys can do solo gigs. And we didn't want to use like tracks and things. We wanted it to be live, so guitar or keys or something like that.
They weren't available, so they used us instead.
Yeah, exactly. So eventually they came to us. So then we decided to run it almost like an open mic, but just with us. So we went ahead and did it. You guys were there.
Listen, I honestly shed a tear. I honestly got emotional. I know, total loser with a capital L, but I just sort of...
Why did you shed a tear?
Honestly, I forgot how good it felt to listen to live music.
Going back to your point, you know, that's the incredible feeling. I think once that starts to come back for people,
I
it's
had
just that
goosebumps,
connection.
and not just that. I love acoustic. Like I love a band. As good. Like honestly, there's nothing that replaces a band. That energy is amazing, but that acoustic, that one-on-one, and we had the table right up the front. So I forgot about all the other people there. You were singing to me, man. That was it. It was it. It was a performance.
Was like underwear
you know, I'm like, this is just for me. But honestly, it was because it felt so good.
Yeah.
Do you know,
And you guys, and also because you guys were freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm going like take it. Honestly, take it. Like I'm,
take
you
what
know,
I can get.
I definitely don't throw compliments around lightly, but it was really good.
Do you know? But I'm happy to hear that, because for me, I don't know about you, but for me it was very different, because I was just shitting it.
Yeah, it was.
Because not only
I get that though.
Not only had we not played live for 5 months, like, I don't know about you, but I'd not played solo for about 5 years.
Okay.
So like when I'm playing in the band now, because I've got such good musicians around me, I'm used to just backing off and doing the bits that's needed, and we let all the other music come in and do its thing. But when you play on your own, you've got to make sort of that sound.
Oh yeah, you're like you're
so,
bare.
Like you know,
well, you don't have that
You're
kind
exposed.
of safety net.
You're bare.
Because if you mess it up,
Yeah.
the rest of the
team.
You were like, you're stripped bare. It's you and the music and what you can offer, and you guys brought it. And I think there was something so cozy about the venue as well. Like, you know, there was limited and everything of the numbers and stuff, but there wasn't a single person in that audience that did not appreciate what you guys did that night.
Well, I think that the people were so happy just to have something that it made our job really easy. Because I played super bad on that night, but I don't think anyone noticed.
No one noticed.
No
one noticed. I can tell you that now.
Because they were too excited to hear everything. So like I came off, you know, all sweaty, little triad. And but the response, even just before we started playing, I walk on stage to announce it, and everyone's like, "Yeah," and I'm like,
Best night ever.
"Wait,
You're
it might
like,
be rubbish."
awesome. And you actually did that. You're like, hold on, before you get too excited. Caveat: we don't normally sing like this. You know.
Oh, but then we had to explain the rules as well, which is a bit sad.
I love it. He goes, so you're not allowed to get up and dance. You're not allowed to smile. You're not allowed to have fun.
No.
You know, that's just remember that.
No, that's how the virus spreads.
I like to bring things down.
Fun.
It didn't work. It stayed up. It stayed
No,
up.
it was a great night, though, wasn't it?
Oh, it was electric.
What order did we do?
You were first.
You were
I did a
first.
few songs to start with.
Then
didn't I? And
Robbo.
Then Rob from Gorgeous George.
And then it
Then were
was
you?
me, and then
Paul from
Paul
Gorgeous
and-
George.
yeah.
And then
I'm
I
surprised
came
Lily
on.
doesn't know the full set, to be honest.
Tell me, it's really
You were
bad.
like,
And then
I was too busy messaging
came on
you.
again, didn't I?
yes, you
Oh,
came
but
on
we
again.
stopped doing that because that's just weird. But yeah.
No, it was great. But is it Paul who was last? Who did the
Paul's
the cover? Oh yeah,
the guy with
that
the beard
was
and-
awesome.
Yeah, really gets that crowd going.
That one was
What was
awesome.
it? The one he did, the
The
Bella
Spanish-
Ciao.
Oh yeah.
Bella
Yeah.
Ciao. everyone was singing
Paul
it.
did- Paul
I didn't
did,
know the words, but I was singing it.
I have no idea what you're going on about
You
right
got-
now.
So,
gotta
okay,
take you
I'll
in.
tell you. So Paul got up and did this Italian song, Bella
Yeah.
Ciao, which I
Yeah.
think is from some
Ah,
Netflix.
yeah.
It's from a Netflix show.
Money Heist.
So,
Money
yes,
Heist, yes.
that's right. So
See,
he,
you know.
You know,
He did the whole thing.
Only because I've seen it with drag queens before, but anyway, completely different from
Good.
Lock, Stock, kind of.
So
Well,
he did
Paul
the whole
was
thing,
dressed in drag.
and he had the stomp box to do the beat, and it's a very upbeat song, and it changes rhythms. Everyone loved it, and he's singing it
Nice.
all in Italian.
Oh, wow.
But right in front of him
Remember,
was
sitting
two
next to us.
Italians, and they're just looking at him going, no.
No, not right.
No,
Take it
words.
It's like,
now.
you're doing it wrong,
You're
and he's just
pronouncing
like,
it wrong.
but he was like, oh, bugger it, I'm just going to go for it. I know you're telling me I'm doing it wrong, but hey.
I'm owning it.
Well,
He-
for
oh,
anyone
you
else,
wouldn't
it
have known.
sounded
You
pretty
wouldn't
Oh, it was
have
Italian.
known.
awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. But he's very charismatic.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
he's
Yes.
so much fun on stage.
Yeah.
You're so coming on Monday. We got to go. I got to take you
I
down.
need to get out. Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
going. No, we're going down there.
Done.
We've talked about the regulations. Hopefully, was it October 15th, you said?
So September
Sorry,
15th,
September
we're allowed events to happen again.
So that you're allowed to do your events that are
If the
not
client
in
will do it.
venues, right?
So this is what I learned this week, which is quite interesting. So there is two types of licenses. You have a venue license and an event license. Currently, as it is with the venue license, you're only allowed one performer
Yeah.
on stage.
Yeah.
However, if you were to have an event license in that venue through an event license, you're allowed multiple performers on stage. So yeah, so there's kind of
Okay.
So,
okay, that makes sense.
so Dan
Yeah.
runs an event consultancy.
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm sensing the ulterior motive of the podcast now.
So the slight caveat to all of this is that things change on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because we're looking at doing some stuff in a licensed venue in a hotel, and we were advised that go through an event license, not through the hotel license, because the restrictions are slightly different. And I'm sure at some point it will kind of marry together.
Yeah.
Well, you
I'm
would
guess-
hope. You would hope by the time they say international events can happen, that things
Yeah.
will loosen up locally.
I mean, I'm guessing it's just and like I'm just. I don't know because
Yeah.
I'm not on the inside, but I'm guessing, you know, it depends on what type of venue you're in, and you
Yeah.
know whether it's like, you know, a crazy brunch. I'm guessing they don't want.
I wonder
to
if
create
they'll still have
party
the social
atmospheres.
distancing for the crowd, even if we're allowed a full band on.
Yeah.
Because actually, if, like you were there on Monday, we have the capacity, which is I think something like 30% of the total
about
capacity
30-40%
with
depending on the
social
size.
distancing. But on the other hand, if we could do a full band, I still wouldn't do it because I think that's just weird.
Yeah,
Because
play
there's not
full
enough.
band
For
and
And
that
no,
size
and no,
audience.
but
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're not allowed to dance.
full band acoustic would be nice though.
yeah.
Full band acoustic
think.
would be very
Yeah.
nice.
I mean,
It would be nice.
unfortunately, social distance is definitely going to be a thing for a while,
Well,
especially
it
as
was,
the
you can't
events
dance. You couldn't even
restart.
get up and dance.
Oh, like I went
Do
to
you know what I
I
mean?
went
That
to
was
brunch a couple of weeks ago, and it was
And
so
everyone was
funny. No, the
dancing?
DJ's like pumping music, and everyone's been drinking, and it was literally like whack-a-mole. Like everybody was standing up. You could just see the doorman going and sit down and sit down and sit down. In the end, it was just like, mate, like
It's
just
just not
give
gonna
up.
work.
Like,
Let-
it's not. Because again, going back
Yeah,
to
but
everything
they
we've been
get
saying,
fined.
they do get fined, which is another thing. I mean, human nature is like people want to dance, people want to enjoy
course.
music, people want to have a good time.
I mean, look at what happened during the lockdown. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, during the absolute height of the first wave of the, you know, pandemic, you had, you know, certain places, I won't name them, but certain places opened up again, and you had queues of people.
I saw that
Oh
one.
yeah.
Not,
Yes.
not
That
caring
then-
about the social
that
distance.
then
They
made
just
it-
need to get out. They
Yeah.
just needed to.
which then meant that no one could go out
well,
after
yeah,
that.
exactly. It really messed
but
it up.
even now,
Yeah.
I know venues that are just doing bands,
Yeah.
and
There's-
I don't know
yeah.
whether it's a choice of like, well, you know what, we can afford a fine, so we'll risk it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
Maybe.
or maybe they're not getting looked at that closely. I don't know. But I know that we were like, we are going nowhere near fines.
Yeah.
Because
It's not worth it.
And also as well,
you
like,
know?
because especially where you perform, like Lockstock, you know, it's a very well-known
Reputable.
establishment.
Yeah,
You know,
we get-
so
we've got eyes on us. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And I think, like, obviously, when you position yourself as being like a leader within like an F&B industry or as performers or whatever, people have eyes on you, so you have to follow and obey the rules of the law. Because
Exactly.
we've been asked to do things. It's like, guys, we can't do that. Like,
Well, I was
it's
gonna
just not
say-
it's
Super
not
rock and roll,
possible.
innit?
Yeah.
I know.
We're
It's
gonna follow
following
these
the rules. Following the rules.
Everyone.
and in bed by 10 p.m. Sweet.
Yeah, we sign up every gig. Be kind to your mum. Follow the rules.
But you know, as you said, you would have had a lot of people like when it comes to pictures and this sort of that and the other wanting you to
Or
go
like,
outside.
Yeah, even right now, people are like going, "Oh, we're having a birthday party in like the Burj Al Arab," and it's like, well, you can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually not allowed.
That must be so difficult. Like you know, on one side you want to get back in there and start again,
Yeah.
and then on the other side it's like, well, that's not the way you want to start because then you'll get the wrong reputation.
And of course, and also because of the conversations
brand,
which we're
yeah.
having with venues and with DTCM and stuff like that, it's like if we do anything outside outside of the rules, then like we're screwed.
When you do that, right? So someone contacts you, they want to do this event, and it's in wherever, Burj Al Arab or whatever, and you know that it's not allowed.
It wasn't the Burj Al Arab, by the way. I was just
or wherever it is.
Censor that out, Ryan.
I
Disclaimer.
just picked a Burj.
Yeah.
So let's say it's in a Burj.
Yeah.
They want to do an event. You know that they can't,
Yeah.
but they can just still choose to do it, right, and risk it, or.
That's their choice.
And what you're
Because
doing is saying
it's
no because you don't want to screw
Well,
yourself
you
up.
you manage your own brand.
Because like it'll be, if it gets out,
It'll
you know,
be illegal,
people
yeah.
share stuff on social media, and it's like, well, why are you doing that when you're not allowed to? We're not
Yeah.
allowed social gatherings in a private capacity like that.
It's also you
especially
work
with like
so
up to like
hard.
50 odd people,
But like
60,
you've
100
also
people.
worked so hard to build your brand. You know,
Yeah.
you've got
Well,
got a
yeah.
reputable brand, a brand that is looked to when it comes to events. You know, if you want to get something done right, these are
Yeah.
the agencies that you go to. These are the consultancies you go to. You're only as good as your last job.
Yeah.
So if all of a sudden you bend that one time,
But I'll tell you what, though, it's really
It's
difficult
it's
watching
difficult right
people
now.
do stuff going,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
Yeah.
we're
And you're
suffering
suffering.
Yeah, and also then
we've had it with bands as well.
Exactly.
yeah,
Do stuff,
and,
yeah.
and then you have to ask the question of those people that are bending the rules and taking that chance. Are they going to ruin it for the rest of us? Are they going to
Exactly.
slow the process of
well,
us
does that
actually
mean a
coming
new
back?
caveat's going to come in, or a
Exactly.
new regulation's going to come in? And
Yeah.
you know, it's the same
Yeah.
thing with people not wearing masks. Is it,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and so on
I mean,
and
it
so forth.
is like case of like, you know, unfortunately, a few people spoil it for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, but we're moving
Yeah,
ahead.
but you-
But,
we
but
should-
that's all of life, though,
It
isn't
is,
it?
it
That's
really
why
is.
that's why we have speed limits, because some people can't handle driving fast.
Yeah.
So we all have to drive slow because they're.
Like my mum. Anyway, so we always digress.
Well, that's the thing. I know I've
We
got to.
spoiled your
I've got to.
questions
I've got to.
here.
No. We see. I'm telling you. I write the narrative, but we always answer them anyway.
Right,
Just-
gave us
Yeah.
We just go around the bend a little bit, a few
Yeah.
roundabouts down the
Are
bush.
you? I'm looking off camera here. Are you going to be editing this?
Oh, yeah. No, we've done well.
We're on
I'm
like
wrapping
35
well.
minutes now. Ryan's like, okay,
I'm
wrap it
wrapping.
up.
Don't worry,
Wrap
Ryan.
it.
I'm wrapping it up. I'm
We're
wrapping it
wrapping
up.
already. I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
It
warm
doesn't
up
matter. We're
time.
going to get you back again.
Do you want some water, John?
Yes, please.
Probably
Yes, you are.
I'm gonna finish it off with this question, and we've sort of already delved into it. Is what advice do you have for other musicians who are sort of struggling right now or wanting to get back in there, and other venues? Like it's a nice ending. We're already sort of landing in there. We've started
Yeah.
speaking about it a little bit, but more to the
think
musicians.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about venues in a future
Yeah.
episode. For me,
Yeah.
it's,
But
it's
so
the,
it's more
the dynamic between the performer and the venue. I think
Exactly.
that relationship is obviously quite vital now.
Yeah, it
Because,
really
you know, venue, I'm sorry, I'm going to probably
No,
go off on a
go,
slight little
go,
tangent.
go.
But, you know, venues are, some of them are struggling. I'm guessing, you know, with the restrictions and having like 30% when you need like 100% to, you know, get
With the
people
same
through the door.
cost.
With the same cost, you know. I mean, like, it's a challenge. But it's just about being fair. And that's what we were talking about previously.
Yeah.
You know, making sure that people don't use it as an excuse to, I guess, like, not undercut, but to cut fees and to act
and drop the rates
unscrupulously.
across the whole board.
Of course,
That
you know, it
would-
has to be consistent and fair.
Yeah.
But it becomes difficult again from, you know, with musicians. Like you said, okay, well, if a venue decides to do that and that's the only work that's going out there, what do you do? Do you say no? Because if you say yes, then you're bringing that standard
Yeah.
down. You're saying it's okay to make the hourly rate this or the nightly
But
gig
then that's where
this.
I'm really interested in the dynamic, and you guys are good because I guess like with
You have
Lockstock, it's a
good
residency,
relationship.
and you've got that good
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
But it's about how can you help me help you, and
Exactly.
having that two-way conversation. Like you guys already by dropping it down to one musician when you first reopened, obviously because you had to, but you know you even said, you know, it wasn't feasible to have the entire band
Yeah.
with a limited audience. It just didn't feel the same.
And also
being
because,
honest.
because in those venues there are people who go there for the specific different bands.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, let's put someone from every band
Yeah.
on one night. So
And it
you
can help bring people in.
that,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No,
So,
that,
yeah, so
that
it's
part I
interesting.
thought it was
Yeah.
that was a really good thing you
So
guys
what was your,
did.
what was your
Well,
original
no, but-
question?
but-
sorry,
but we're-
And I'm sorry, I went off on one.
but we are answering the question, which is what advice do you have to
That was it.
musicians? So
Go on,
this
I want
is
some
the
advice.
conversation.
Yeah.
I
Rain it down on me,
no
Dave.
clue what to give advice for music. I mean, I think, you know what? I think it's hard because we don't have a music union here, so we don't actually have
Union? What is
I
that?
know.
Sorry,
I know.
what?
I
Do you
know.
The amount of conversation I've had over the last like 6 months of people wanting to start unions, it's actually really difficult.
Yeah.
You can't, well, they're illegal for a start.
Yeah, exactly.
Even,
So
even
you-
associations are really difficult to get together.
Exactly. So that's not going to happen. So I think the best thing the musicians and the venues can do is actually work together
Yeah.
and go, look, we understand what's happened now. We understand that you don't have the budgets anymore. So, you know, of course it's not going to come, you know, we're not going to come back and go, well, it's this much and it was exactly what it was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
I think there has to be almost like any other industry, there has to be a timeline. There has to be
for
some
sure.
kind of like a like you'd have a repayment plan. Like, okay, well, we'll do it for this long, you know, while we're
now.
all building
Revisit.
and we're all recovering, and then you know, let's call it the 2020 initiative towards the end, and then
When I hate that year already.
yeah, I really do. But then, you know, as long as we have an agreement that, you know, as we go on, this is not an excuse to basically undercut musicians and go, well, we're going to just get you for this from now on.
Because then you become a commodity.
Exactly.
And that's a challenge across all of entertainment. It has been here for a long time.
Yeah, but you're also going to just lose all the entertainers. You're going to lose a huge amount of very, very accomplished performers.
You know, they'll put up with it because they don't have options at the moment. But as soon as things get healthy, they'll be out of there. They're
That's
like,
it.
I'm
But
sorry.
that's where the relationship is vital because,
Exactly.
you know, you guys bring a lot. You know, bring a lot of value to a venue.
Exactly.
Whether it's like your fan base, your followers, you know, the music and the experience that you guys create. And obviously the venues provide you with the venue to enable to do it. It's a two-way partnership where I think often, unfortunately, it's often seen, I guess, like venues just see performers as commodities. It's like, well, if you don't want to do it, I'm going to replace you. But it's like, well, hang on a minute. Like, you still need that.
But I'd also say to the venues, and I think this is where Lockstock and you know, Solutions have it right at times with this. It's don't just, from the venue point of view, don't bring in a band and just go, well, we're just bringing a band. You know, a lot of them change
They
every
do.
3 months,
Yeah.
and they just stick them on stage, and that
Yeah.
and that should
And you're a
that should
filler.
and that should bring in people.
Yeah.
It's not gonna.
It's not.
We want
Especially now.
especially now.
Yeah.
So if you want to bring in a band right now, you know, treat it as a tourist attraction.
Yeah. It's an extension of the marketing campaign.
Exactly.
I would look
Yeah.
at it as an investment.
It's an
Exactly.
investment.
Which,
100%.
Yeah.
which is why
100%.
we did the things down to licensing more than anything. That, you know, you have to have licenses for performers, and we were like, right, okay, well, we're gonna invest in these musicians, and they're going to be with us as long as they can.
Yeah.
Of course, you run the risk of like audience fatigue if you
Yeah,
want a
true.
different band. But I would rather have a team of people who are happy and have a good stage, and I know I can count on them.
Yeah.
I
And
know I can
dedicated.
call John tomorrow and be like, right, sorry, it's short notice, but you're going
Can
to
you?
Abu Dhabi and your whole band's going and do 2 sets for me. And John will be like, oh, that sounds terrible, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate
So,
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Pay me back later.
But
I'm on
think
my
you
way.
You've
right
heard our
now-
conversations before. Then.
yeah. They're not as polite.
Have you not figured out by now that after the other night Lily stalked you?
yeah.
She's like your number one
I gotta get my
groupie.
panties back.
But,
I do have them with me, so it's
Put 'em on
he
stage.
signed them with the hashtag. That's nice.
Ryan, we're so censoring some of this.
No. This is the most real
wasn't even swearing.
Run 40 minutes.
that mean
Nobody will be
does that
watching
mean
by
We're,
now.
we're 10, we're 10 minutes
We've
over.
been talking for 40
Oh, I
minutes.
thought that meant 40 minutes left.
No, we've been talking for 40 minutes. People have switched off by now. It's
Yeah.
No,
fine.
they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Guys, have more confidence. Come on. How do you think we get through it? By faking it all the time.
Yeah.
yeah, it's true.
All right, well, there you go. That's the advice, everyone. Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Pretend.
Wow.
Pretend. Yeah.
Listen, thank you guys so much for coming
Thank
in.
you.
It's been an absolute hoot. Mondays. Hoot.
Hoot, yeah.
Hoot.
Hoot.
I like the way
Well,
you
I
said it
just-
really Aussie, like
I just-
hoot. It's been an absolute hoot.
Oh, Irish then.
that
did
that
you
did
know?
not sound Australian.
It's been a hoot.
we just
I've got it.
alienate so
I've
many
got it.
people.
I've got it in my head not to swear.
I
so-
alienate my audience all the time using northern expressions. And
I
I
alienate
always
them by directly telling them that. Why are you here? You can do better than this.
Yes, I'm disappointed in you.
well,
Leave.
all
Right,
those people
I'm
that want to
dying.
see you. When can they see you guys again? Monday nights.
So currently we're doing Monday nights in Lock, Stock and Barrel, Barsha Heights. Start about 9ish.
That's the posh name for TCOM.
I know. Oh, I miss TCOM.
Yeah, TCOM.
Yeah.
I love a bit of TCOM.
Yeah.
TCOM sounds
Stuck
like a
in, mate.
phone directory.
not letting-
telecoms company.
You're not letting us finish.
Sorry, I'm really enjoying it. I was going to start talking about northern slang, but I thought,
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
otherwise we're going to be here all day.
Yeah.
And then you can see us in Lock, Stock and Barrel JBR.
Fantastic.
On Wednesdays.
That's
Yeah.
LSP2.
LSP2, yep.
Until something else changes and we come up with a new plan.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But the next plan will be a more exciting one than this.
Brilliant.
Has
Well,
to be.
when that happens, we'll probably get you guys back in and to tell us a little bit more
I'm
about
coming
that.
back in next
That'd be
week.
great.
You're going to come back and
I'm
yeah,
excited.
No, I mean every week.
Every
I
week.
like this.
This is his new lounge.
This is his new lounge.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Then we're doing something right.
Yeah, happy days.
We've just made it into the cool group.
All right, cool group.
I don't know.
Oh, guys, you have
Oh,
so
my
much judge.
Yeah.
If we've given up, if we've given up
said
on
that.
the
You need to aim higher.
Hey, we're in with the rockers. What are you on
I told
about?
you she's a groupie. Just be careful.
This goes back to the crowd. You deserve better.
I deserve better.
Linda's going to start knocking on your door at 3 o'clock in the morning. Going,
Hey guys, I want to have another hoot.
right,
Right, that's it. We're wrapping up.
Okay.
We're wrapping up.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you very
much
Honestly,
for
it was
coming
so
in.
fun.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank
Until
you.
next time. Bye.
See you later.
Right.
Hey, it's Joe Mango here down in Asman with the Quest for Adventure guys. They do some amazing kayaking tours through the mangroves, but also they do a little bit of wakeboarding as well, and hopefully I can do better than that guy. Wish me luck. So we've now come to the mangroves in Ajman and we're about to go do some kayaking. Absolutely amazing day down at the mangroves in Ajman. Elaine, thank you so much.